Aloha kako guys, and welcome back to Just and True. I know I put a short video out this morning, but I also wanted to touch shortly, just a little bit, very quickly on the rule of three, or the law of three, which is very universal. A lot of people have their own laws of threes, tons of different laws of threes. Mine for prepping is the mentality of your waves and I guess you could call it, what Christians call dispensations. Things change in the Bible, different ages change in the Bible, different laws change in the Bible. It's kind of going to be, preppers, you need to realize that it's not just SHTF situation happens and that's the status quo. We don't go from living our life now to living a post-apocalyptic life. That's not how it's going to go. And that's not how anything goes at all in these situations. What you need to realize is there's usually going to be in these kind of events, you're going to have, again, this law of three, where your waves and the state of emergency is going to intensify within 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, and then for even further than that, at 3-year intervals. If after 3 months nothing has been restored, if life as we know it hasn't been restored, then the 3 years gets really nasty. So the way we come up with these, and the reason we come up with these, is because 3 days is pretty much how long you can go without water. And in a SHTF, poop hits the fan scenario, you're going to have people out there who are underprepared, who don't know how to filter water, who have never gotten known of the lay of the land. They're not familiar with where their bodies of water are, and they wouldn't even know how to filter it if it happens. So for the first 24 hours, it's going to be quiet. 48 hours, it'll be a little quiet. 72 hours is when you'll start to get the first bump of insurgency, if you will, or just a surge of irrational thinking, because there will be people out there after 3 days. You're going to have people without water, who don't have fresh water to drink, who don't know how to filter water, who will do whatever they can to get water. So prepare for those first 3 days, and when that third day hits, realize that there will be people out there that you can recognize who will be trying to get water from you, and also will be dying of thirst. So you have a choice of, and I'm not going to push my opinion on you. You guys all know my opinion already. I think it's pretty clear. But you have a choice of keeping your water and keeping your operational security and information intelligence security secure, and not letting anybody know you have water, not giving water out. Or you can realize that there are people dying in the streets of not having water, and you can go and dispense water without running risk of compromising your location or your shelter in place or your bug out location. But you do expose yourself as being someone who has resources. So there's risk and gain involved, like I said earlier. And then after 3 weeks, you're going to see people who are going to be starving. I know that a lot of people can go without food. Jesus went without food for 44 days. Lots of people go without food for a long period of time without getting those starving sensations. And but Americans aren't them. We are so used to 3 square meals a day, plus snacks in between, a big coffee in the morning, or tea, whatever your cup of joe is, pun intended. And if we don't have those, we get hungry. We get hungry way quicker than most countries. We get hunger way quicker than most people in general. I'm not saying everybody, because we don't fast. We even have a thing where in the morning we break our fast, which is weird to me. So yeah, breakfast is very important. Eating and staying nutritious is very important. But overeating, being obese, and just a kind of a gluttonous lifestyle is definitely a danger to you, and during this situation, because you're so used to having a full belly and you're so used to having food security that when it's not there, you're going to go crazy, and you're not going to know. Most people won't know what to do. Most people will be so insecure that they'll be driven to do things that they wouldn't usually do, or they'll just be dying. And again, this will be at the third week mark. So at around after 3 days, between 3 days and 3 weeks, you're going to see people really, really wanting water. When that third week hits, you're going to see people really, really wanting food. So watch those waves of uncertainty. They'll go up and down, because once that third week starts, those people that are hungry, I always say that the two biggest threats to an army or to just any person trying to survive is cold and hunger. I mean, there are tons and tons of other things, but those two things are lethal, and they creep up on you, and there's no defense. I mean, you can bundle up and bundle up and bundle up in the cold, but the cold will seep through the cracks. It will constantly barrage through every tiny square inch and just get at you, unless you're constantly defending against it, unless you're constantly creating more warmth. The cold doesn't stop. It's a non-stop attack. Same thing with hunger. Hunger is something you can't defend against unless you're constantly defending against it, unless you have the food to defend against it. It creeps in, and it just constantly attacks. If you've ever felt true hunger before in your life, then you know what I'm talking about. It's a pain, and it's a mental state that just gets you to places that you don't want to be. So after 3 weeks, you're going to have people wanting that food, that willing to do anything for that food, that maybe after the 3 days, they already did some things that they didn't like to get water. So those 3 weeks, 3-week period is going to be very crucial. It's going to be another bump, another certainty. And at this point, unfortunately, I do believe that in these scenarios, you're going to have a lot of people dying. You're going to have a lot of people after 3 weeks dying, passing away because of malnutrition, because of hunger and starvation, and because of dehydration. So there's going to be a lot of people, I believe, in these situations, when or if they occur, that will just, at the 3-day and the 3-week mark, will be eradicated. And unfortunately, and sad to say, after 3 months, the issue you start to see after 3 months is twofold: medicinal reasons, medical reasons, and also group reasons. After 3 months, and up until 3 months, the majority of medical concerns and treatments without medicine can be avoided, or they can be staved off with proper nutrition and just living through harsh times. But after 3 months, a lot of these medical conditions, without modern medicine and without their doctor or prescriptions or an herb garden and knowledge of medicine, they will start to die. You'll see in a 3rd month, you'll see people wanting medicine and people needing first aid, people needing medical attention, people needing, infections will start to set in from dirty water that they drank from previously, or from dirty food, or from open wounds. So after 3 months, people are really going to start to focus, and really you'll start seeing deaths due to lack of medical care, lack of medicine, and you'll see a surge in violence to try and get that medical. So we can try and figure out and try and sit back and strategically figure out the tactics of the enemy and the people who will try and get at us, the tactics and the mindset of the people around us, and how we can prepare ourselves mentally, physically, spiritually, and with our gear to understand what we're going to go through, and try and figure out now what we will do personally on a personal level, what you're going to do when this happens. And it's good to think about it now and prepare for the test, because when you get asked these questions on the test, you're going to want to know them instead of just having to think on your feet. You're going to want to be prepared. The other thing after the 3rd month is groups. Groups will start to form, and with those groups, you're going to see those larger groups of bandits. And all throughout history, you have seen people who've grouped together, thieves, bandits, the bad guys, right? After 3 months, you're going to have these large groups of people that are going to be well organized, that have lived through the first 3 months of the SHTF event and situation, kind of on a splinter cell group, individually, until they found like-minded people. Wolves find a pack, and they start running together, and they start defending each other, and they start getting food together. Which in the essence and the core is great, but they're going to be doing it by bad means. So at the 3rd month mark, you're going to see people passing because of medical. You're going to see people becoming more aggressive because they need medical first aid and medicine, and you're also going to see large groups of bad guys starting to form. So we can look at these situations and try and understand how we're going to respond. So after 3 days, we know people are going to want water, they're going to be dying of water, and they're going to be fighting for water. What are we going to do with our water? After 3 weeks, you know that people are going to be dying from starvation, they're going to be wanting food, and they're going to be attacking and fighting for food. What are you going to do with your food? After 3 months, you're going to see people needing medical care, needing first aid care, needing medicine, modern medicine. And you'll see people fighting for that. You'll also see people starting to gather in groups, bad people. How are you going to defend against that? How are you going to hide yourself from that, shield yourself from that? What are you going to do with your medicine? What are you going to do with your first aid? What are you going to do with your medical? So I just want to kind of get into the laws of three real quick and start preparing ourselves mentally to understand and have a little foresight of the challenges that we're going to face. We all know the obvious challenges of having food, water, shelter, and medicine. But what are the challenges we're going to have to face as a society and individuals, changing our mental capacity, our state of mind, and our foresight to evaluate these situations and neutralize them before they show up? So just like in military training, we train and 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 we train, because when that situation comes, we just rely on our training. We don't have to think. So thank you guys so much for stopping in. Please comment below. If you guys haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I'm chatting to a lot of people that just for some reason just forget to subscribe. I do that all the time. I check in on a bunch of videos. I'm like, hey, I'm not a subscriber of them. That's funny. It does help. It means a lot to me. Hui ho, until next time. I'll probably be doing my microwave video this evening. All right, have a good day.